Joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show, coming back from a knee injury, one of the best for the Arizona Cardinals and in the National Football League, Tyrann Mathieu here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Tyrann?
Rich, good morning. I appreciate you having me. It's one of those mornings, man, but I'll get through it.
Yeah, and I know you're shaken up by this. I'm shaken up by this. Everybody in the NFL community, certainly in the New Orleans area, is shaken up by this. A gentleman named Cardinals Hayes was the one who allegedly pulled the trigger. He is now in jail, charged with second-degree homicide. And I couldn't help but notice, a lot of people noticed that you were tweeting about that you know him, Tyrann, correct?
Yeah. Very familiar with him. I've had several encounters with him growing up, and I would even say altercations with him growing up. So I know what type of personality he is. I would like to choose my words wisely because obviously we lost someone, and obviously we want to pray for that person, and I even want to pray for Cardell because he was always one of those bullies, so to say. So I know him from those type of altercations. He was a very big guy, and he felt as if he could muscle his way with anybody and anyone. So, it's really a tough situation. He was a former prep football star like I was in Louisiana, most times, it's only a selected few of us that get a chance to make it out. And jealousy and envy plays a big part in all of this. So I'm pretty sure he knew who Will Smith was. He was a hero in New Orleans. He brought us a championship. He won a championship in Ohio State. He did so much for the community. You have to know who Will Smith is.
So you think when Will got out of the car, Cardell knew, I knew that was. There's also a lot of talk going on that one of the dinner mates for Will Smith that night is a police captain, a former police captain in New Orleans who was named in a suit involving Cardell Hayes suing the city for the wrongful death or shooting death of his dad back in 2005. There's a lot of ties that bind seemingly here, Tyrann.
And New Orleans is a very small city, and which is I made a reference yesterday on Fox that every time I go back home, Rich, I cannot stay for longer than 2 days. And that is part of the reason. People know where you are, they know where you're at, and they will find you. And they will bump into you, and they will try to start any kind of altercation with you. And the first thing that they think about is to take your life. They don't want to ask any questions. They don't want to talk about anything. They just want to let loose with their gun. And that is part of the reason why I fly in and I fly out of town. Because it's so easy for people to find out, hey, man, Tyrann's over there. Hey, man, Will Smith's at this bar. It's so easy because it's such a small city. Everybody knows everybody.
Tyrann Mathieu joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. So just to reiterate here, you can only go home, you think, for a 48-hour period because, you feel that your livelihood, or if not your life, could be put on the line, Tyrann?
Absolutely. Like I said, Rich, it's only a selected few of us that get a chance to make it out of there. And, all of us grow up with those aspirations, but only a few of us really have the drive and the motivation and the commitment to take it to the next level and then to take it to another level, right? So, we like the golden egg in a bucket, and everybody wants a piece of that, whether they want your money or whether they want to take something from you. And these dudes, man, and it's my city, Rich. I love my city, man. But it's like every time I fly into town, it's a certain vibe I get. And when I'm walking up and down the street, it's a certain vibe I get. I remember, I'm going to take you back for a moment. I don't want to hold you too long, but...
No, please go.
I remember I shot. I don't know if you've seen it. My Born and Bred in New Orleans, my NFL Films document, right?
Mm-hmm.
I shot that in New Orleans, and as I'm walking through the first quarters, as you would know, they have jazz bands playing on every corner.
Mm-hmm.
As I'm walking through the French quarters, there were a jazz band of black guys. They immediately stopped playing. And I'm thinking to myself, why do they hate me so much? What is it that they hate about me? I mean, they will not play one song. And they knew I was there to shoot just a script for my documentary, for NFL Films. They knew this. We told them this. They will not play a jazz song for us. That is the type of hate and jealousy that I'm talking about.
So is that what you would attribute that moment to? That they just refused to, because of why? I mean, if you could put a fine point on it,
I
Tyrann.
mean, I can't say this. I mean, but you would never see Lil Wayne in New Orleans. You would never see those type of guys in New Orleans because the hate and the jealousy is that real and is that overwhelming.
So what could be done about it? If you could, because obviously you see the underpinnings of it. You, for crying out loud, you grew up with them and have expressed how you escaped it in many ways.
I mean, for me, I was very fortunate. I was able to be adopted by my adopted parents, and I was able to go to St. Augustine, one of the best private schools in New Orleans, and so I was kind of able to escape it, even though I could never really escape it at a young age, right? I was kind of put in a bubble, sort of say, and, try to avoid those type of situations. But, I mean, I lost my best friend at age 20 to gun violence. I lost several uncles to this. I'm very familiar with how people act. And people do not ask any questions, Rich. These dudes want to take your life. They don't know. They don't care if you got kids. They don't care if you accomplish great things in your life. If they feel like they want what you have, they will find any way to get into a situation with you. And that is my point of why I fly in to see my family, and I fly right back out because I do not want to bump into anybody because there's so much animosity. The only thing I can think of is how can we fix this is, first of all, we have to change the culture for these young kids. We have to give these young kids something to do. They have nothing to do, Rich. They can't go to the playground like I was. I was able to play sports year-round. Mm-hmm. That kept me out of a lot of trouble. Nowadays, the Boys and Girls Clubs, they aren't up and running ever since the hurricane. The recreational centers, the parks, the playgrounds, the Pop Warner leagues, I mean, it's so few of them. The park that I played for got shut down for no reason. They just shut it down. So what do you want the kids of the 7th Ward to do? They have no parks in the 5th Ward. You have to take your kids to different communities just so they can be active in sports. And most of these kids are in poverty. I mean, their moms work 2 or 3 jobs because half of them, their dads are in prison. So, I mean, it's a tough situation. So for me, what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to try my best to get those Boys and Girls Clubs back up and running. Try my best to get the Nord to put the money into the recreational centers. I mean, 2 years ago, I went back home. I went to the Joe Brown Center. They kicked us out at 5 o'clock. Now, this is a guy who's in the NFL, and I'm thinking to myself, well, damn, what do you want these kids to do? I mean, I got something to do. But what do you want these little kids to do after 5 o'clock? Mama is working overnight shifts, trying to pay for rent, trying to pay to put food on the table. What do you want these young kids to do with their lives? If it was up to me, I'd leave it open all night just so these kids can have a safe place to be. But once you take all that away from these kids, man, they have nothing to do. They have no choice but to revert to the streets. but to revert to drug dealers.
And you think, Tyrann, that Will Smith was caught up in this whole description of the city that you just gave so eloquently and emotionally to the listeners and viewers of this show over the last 7 to 10 minutes? Tyrann, do you think Will Smith is now resting in peace because of whatever you just described?
Absolutely. I think it was one of those situations where he was really at the wrong place at the wrong time, and he bumped into the wrong person. I mean, I know this guy personally, and Rich, is not really for me to put his personal business on air.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I came out yesterday and called him a coward, I received death threats from guys in New Orleans, from his relatives. And I'm thinking to myself, well, what do you guys want from me? I'm only here to speak the truth. That's it. I'm not trying to steal anybody's life. I'm trying to give everybody the truth, though, of a culture that's divided. New Orleans is a place of great celebration. Great celebration. You could go there and have a great time.
No doubt.
And then there's this other side of it, to where if you walk too far up Canal Street, you will get robbed. You know what I mean? Like if you go in certain areas, like the area Will Smith, was in, that something bad is going to happen to you. And I don't know how we control that. I don't know how we change that part of it. But, I know for a fact, because I spent 20 years there. I've lost several uncles there. Uptown, downtown, in New Orleans East. It happens everywhere in New Orleans. And a lot of times, like I said earlier in the show, Rich,
Mm-hmm.
it stems from jealousy, man. Because a lot of people, they want to be famous. They want to have money. They want to have success. And the only way they could really brag about some things is, oh, man, if I sell drugs, I could brag about being a drug dealer. Or if I take lives, then I could brag about being a killer. That's the culture now.
Well, we can only hope, Tyrann, that people see your example of what you've become based on what you went through, based on all the things you're discussing from your hometown, and just use you as the example of how to do right in this world and how to be right and how to lead by example. And before I let you go, update me and everybody else on how you're feeling. What's going on with your knee? What's up with that?
I'm feeling great, man. I'm moving around really well. I haven't had any setbacks yet, so I'm really excited about it. So I should be prepared to go full speed around training camp, and so I've been really pushing it. So I can't wait for next season. I should be ready to go.
Because Larry Fitzgerald says you're being told by the team to slow down. You're pushing it too much. He called you the Wolverine with your healing skills.
Yeah, I mean, those are kind words, but, there are some days where they have to tell me to chill out and, slow down a little bit. The season isn't around the corner just yet, so, you can take it easy a little bit. So they have been having to tell me to do that, but like I said, man, I got big goals. I felt like I played, one of the best football seasons of my career last year, and I absolutely do not want to have a drop off this year. So for me, it's all about the grind. And it's just work, man. I got to put in that work.
Tyrann, thanks for calling in and sharing, being truthful, telling us what's going on in your hometown and being so emotional about it. And whatever I can do, whatever you think I can do to help get word out, whatever the platform that this show provides, we're up for it. Okay.
I appreciate that, Rich, man. Thank you so much.
Always, always. That's Tyrann Mathieu.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern, on Audience.